This is Pittsburgh Vintage, but it's actually an antique. Made around 1905 by the Pittsburgh Lamp, Brass, and Glass Company, one of the premier makers. Their patterned glass chamber lamps are incredible and inspired Fenton and other companies to reproduce electric versions of these original kerosene lamps decades later. Let's take a closer look at Pittsburgh version of the Grapes lamp, Vintage.
You are watching the channel for Fenton Glass, Lamps, and Victorian Style, with your host, James Bartosh.
Vintage as an adjective is an item over 50 years old, but in this case, vintage is a noun, a name given to this lamp by collectors. It's possible vintage is an official name, mentioned by the company in an advertisement or sales literature, but sometimes they are just coined over the years by collectors searching for the lamp and coming up with a descriptive name to call it. Vintage refers to the grapes, as in winemaking. After all, in the catalog it's labeled S6235. Vintage is quite a nice name in comparison. There are 3 different airbrush styled decorations on opal glass, meaning the base glass inside is white, opal, or milk glass, and then the decoration of different colors are applied by an artist and fired in for permanence. This would seem to be decoration B, backgrounds and tintings of brown and buff, the vines, and fruit in blue and carmine. The blue is more on the purple end in reality. Here's one in decoration C with green background. Decoration A with pink background. Crystal and cerise, the red color from the French word for cherry. More on these later. This lamp can be confused with fellow prolific high-quality lamp producer Consolidated's version called Hanging Grapes. There are 2 ways to tell the difference upon a quick glance. First, Pittsburgh's Vintage lower vase tapers upwards in a conical shape, then abruptly narrows to this straight cylindrical shape just around the font. Hanging Grapes does this, but to a much lesser effect. Next, both the globe and the vase on Hanging Grapes leave open unpatterned areas called panels because the initial decorated version of theirs included transferware-like scenes of castles on the Rhine, creating wine. Pittsburgh Vintage has smaller bundles of grapes where Consolidated would have the panels and looping vines and is decorated by the mold-blown pattern throughout without any spaces for scenes. Like the initial version of Hanging Grapes, Pittsburgh Vintage also came in the satin red art glass color and clear satin crystal. You can spot a crystal satin version of Vintage in the 1993 movie The Age of Innocence, and towards the end of the movie, there's a vignette of a fast forward in time several years, and you see the kerosene Pittsburgh Vintage fade into the room years later, now replaced by an electric lamp. And that's part of the conundrum of these patterned glass parlor lamps. They generally don't give out a ton of light. They're a bit heavy and cumbersome to move around, but man, do they look good. 120 years later, and the glass cleans up and the brass shines like gold. All you need to do is take the time to polish it. The Success font is solid brass and will polish infinitely. The trim ring is not magnetic, but it's not solid brass. I think it's probably white metal or spelter, and I think this one has been painted a gold metallic spray. The footer is magnetic, probably cast iron, but the electroplated brass must be a really thick layer because I was able to polish it by hand to a nice finish. I probably wouldn't machine polish it. You could always test underneath first to make certain you don't go down to the base cast iron. The upside of cast iron is weight and the strength for years of stability. The chimney is on the short end, as pictured from the catalog, and this drawing appearing in the book American Victorian. Not sure where that sketch came from, but it's awesome to see old representations of these from way back when. This is my favorite of the opal decorated, airbrush styled pattern glass lamps. If you're fond of it too, run some searches from time to time. Just searching grapes lamp probably gives you the best chance. While hanging grapes was reproduced quite a bit, and there are a couple other mid-century grape designs, I am not aware that vintage was ever reproduced. So keep an eye out for the distinctive shape or the wonderfully varied color palette of Pittsburgh Vintage. Thanks for watching this featurette on the antique kerosene pattern glass lamp known as Vintage, made by the Pittsburgh Lamp, Brass, and Glass Company. For more features on pattern and art glass lamps, consider subscribing to the channel.
Click to see that special content now, right here on the channel for Fenton Glass, Lamps, and Victorian Style.